Hey guys, welcome to a special episode here. Today we're going to be looking at a few of the new things here coming out from Games Workshop. As you know, I play Harlequins, so Death Masque was a pretty big deal. So as you can see, we now have the Death Masque set here. Also, which you guys probably don't know yet, because I don't think I've put up any of the videos yet, but I have actually recently started playing Tempestus Scions, or Military Tempestus, I guess. I kind of wanted to get them up and painted before they actually hit the table, so there's a backlog on several of the battle reports, so you guys haven't seen them yet, depending on when you're watching this. And yeah, as a result, I actually thought it would be nice to also have an edition of more Imperium, right? So what fits with Military Tempestus? Well, Inquisition and Deathwatch, because Ordos Xenos. So I went ahead and picked this up because A, it's a really good value for the Harlequins. It gives me a lot of new models to add to my collection, and actually you'll get to see in the near future I will probably push some of these towards the front for the new factions here, or new stuff. And you're going to get to see those sooner rather than later in some of the older battle reports that are already filmed. Will sort of trickle in as, you know, as time happens. But I'm definitely going to push the new Deathwatch to the front. So you're going to get to see Deathwatch probably with some Military Tempestus, and actually also even have some new guys here. I have some assassins. That's a Vindicare, and then I have all 4 assassins now. So we have quite a bit of Imperium now as well. In any case, what I'm going to discuss on this one is going to be the new Harlequin stuff, because there's actually a lot more new Harlequin info in the Death Masque box than I was expecting. So let's start with the primary thing that probably most people are going to be, I hesitate to say excited, because this probably needs an FAQ from Games Workshop on it. However, with Harlequin iconography and everything else surrounding the page that Eldrad is on, he is listed as an HQ. So that means potentially very cool things, right? It means you can actually bring CADs with Harlequins. It means you can bring them as an allied detachment. It means a lot of things. Now, that also brings up a whole host of other questions. A lot of what makes Harlequins viable and good is generally a lot of your formation benefits, right? So, is it worth it to be able to get that, you know, the nicety of being able to bring 6 Shadow Seers, or I guess CAD would be 3, yeah, like 3 Shadow Seers or 3 Death Jesters, instead of, you know, having to bring the 3 troops just to get that through a mask formation or detachment, and knowing that you lose those special rules by doing so. And is that going to be worthwhile for you? And that's kind of going to be a little bit of playing around with it and deciding if, you know, Eldrad is in fact available for Harlequins to use as an HQ. Just because he's surrounded by Harlequin iconography in the, you know, booklet here, like here, you know, like it has all the diamonds and the Harlequin stuff around him. However, also on the opposite page it says that Eldrad is Eldar faction and everything else is Harlequin faction. It really does need an FAQ, because he's in one of the formations. He basically is an HQ for a CAD. That's what one of the formations essentially is, with some other benefits. So can he be used as a HQ, or can he not? And if he can, is it even worthwhile? So part of the other reasons I think he can is what some of the other available choices are. They have a lot of the new stuff basically will give you some of those formation advantages in a single unit. and you can take that unit instead of like this named unit instead of the, a normal troop, and you can do that in normal formations. So that would be a benefit, obviously, if you're running if you're going to run a CAD or something to that effect, to be able to still run in charge or still reroll those Jinx saves for your Skyweavers, right? We'll see. My initial thought is yes, he can be used as an HQ, but in that faction still says he's Eldar. I don't know. I mean, why put him in here as an HQ? Like, I don't understand why you would list Eldrad in a Death Masque as an HQ. Why not just put a Solitaire in there or something leading it? Like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense that you put Eldrad in here if he isn't going to be available for Harlequin HQ, but it's Games Workshop, so you never know. I said my initial inclination is he can be, but like I said, it really does need an FAQ. In any case, Eldrad he's listed HQ, not cheap, obviously, 195. Comes with lots of cool stuff. If you know Eldrad, then all his information is up there. It's more or less the same, so I'm not going to spend too much time going over him. He's got his usual 3-up invuln and all his special roles: Ancient Doom, Battle Focus Fleet, Independent Character, and of course Psyker Mastery level 4 because Eldrad. He's quite good, and he has a way to get Eternal Warrior in one of the formations, which we'll cover here in a second. So primarily, let's go ahead and move on with the tentative assumption he can be used as an HQ. If he can, that really is fantastic. It opens up a lot of options for bringing the Harlequins, and if that is in fact a thing that you can do, that's good. That said, is it always worth it? Because sometimes the formations give you really good benefits, but as we cover these new versions of units or troops and things like that, you can decide whether or not you can make an effective HQ and CAD formation with him. So, starting off, we have a troop. I actually have some notes here. So, the troop is essentially, it's an uncustomizable troop. For that, it's at a discount. And it has some cool special rules. Well, one cool special rule specifically. So, we'll start off with what's probably the weaker of the two troops, and it's priced as such for 135 points. So this is actually, for everything I'm gonna list that the troop comes with, it's actually an 11-point discount as if you had bought that off of a normal Harlequin troop. So it's 11 points cheaper. Now the downside is it doesn't have a true troop master. The troop master is basically just a generic Harlequin in it. However, he does have 2 wounds, but he doesn't have the stat benefits. He doesn't get the weapon skill, the ballistic skill, the initiative, the extra attack, or the leadership. He gets the extra wound, but that's it. So, losing the weapon skill, ballistic skill, is it worth it? Maybe, for the benefits and for 11 points cheaper. And honestly, he's not equipped with any of the special weapons, so him not having the higher weapon skill, ballistic skill is relatively irrelevant. If anything, it could possibly be a benefit, because if there's a really scary sergeant, commander, knob, whatever it is, you can sacrifice him to the challenge, and he will lose badly. In any case, this is a named guy, apparently, I don't know. He's just a character. And he is unique, which means you can only have one of these versions. Essentially, it says that any troop can be replaced with this in any of the Harlequin formations, right? So, for example, in a Masque, if you brought a Masque detachment, you could make one of your troops the Death's Companions, which is the name of this troop. So the leader's named is Dusk. He's equipped with Shuriken Pistol, Close Combat Weapon. One player is equipped with a Shuriken Pistol and Close Combat Weapon as well, so that's basically 2 base players. The one, I guess, advantage of Dusk is you could just put him out front and let him absorb wounds since she has 2 of them. Then you got, oh right, and you get 5 players plus Dusk, so it's a 6-man troop. Then you have 2 players that have a shuriken pistol and a kiss, so good, because kisses are good. 1 player, no, this is some debatable stuff here, but it's not bad. 1 player gets a Neuro Disruptor. Again, if you actually had a Troop Master, you're better served probably putting the Neuro Disruptor on the Troop Master, because ballistics go 5. That said, I mean, it's not like it's a bad weapon. It definitely makes Terminators cry, right? 1 player gets a Shuriken Pistol and a Caress, and the guy with the Neuro Disruptor also has a Caress. So basically, whoever has the Neuro Disruptor, you're with this troop, you're putting as safe a position as you can, because essentially he has 18 points of upgrades on this troop member. Either way, that's 135 points. As I said, that is 11 points cheaper. Downside, of course, is you don't get the extra weapon skill, ballistic skill, initiative, and extra attack of a troop master. So, but 11 points cheaper. Special rules. They all have Fear, Fleet, Furious Charge, Hit and Run, so all the normal Harlequin stuff. And then what makes this actually... I know what you're thinking, because I'm thinking too, like, well, the Troop Master, man, like, you lose a ballistic skill, weapon skill, initiative, like, this all sucks. And you don't even get an extra leadership, right? So why is he a leader? 9 leadership isn't bad, let's be honest. A lot of armies have worse overall, so 9 leadership is still good. But the reason that you would do this, beyond the 11-point discount, is all models in this troop have hit and run, or can run and charge. That is not run and charge from turn 2. That is run and charge always. Always they can run and charge. That's a pretty big deal. Stick him in a Skyweaver. Turn 1, move up 6 inches. Deploy them 6 inches away from the Skyweaver. Or Starweaver. Deploy them 6 inches away from the Starweaver. Proceed to run. By the way, fleet. Then possibly charge. Like, if you put this in a Starweaver, you have a very legitimate contender to turn 1 charge. It's pretty good. I mean, even if you rolled a 1-inch movement, if you started exactly 24 inches away from your opponent and you rolled a 1-inch run, it's still an 11-inch charge, right? I mean, and that's worst case scenario. Like, generally you're going to roll at least 3 or 4. And you add 4 inches to that 12-inch movement, and you've gone 16 inches out of your 24. You only have 8 inches left. That's a pretty reasonable charge when you got fleet. Really, you're looking at a very viable turn 1 charge army by using these guys. So that is actually a really cool aspect. Does it outweigh the weapon skill, ballistic skill, initiative, all that attack? Coupled with 11 points, I think it does. As long as you're going to utilize them to try to get a turn 1 charge off. I think it's definitely worthwhile, actually. I can't see a good reason not to with them. It's 11 points cheaper. Harlequins are notoriously expensive, so any discount is probably welcome. I know it would help. If you sacrifice 11 points here, that's a Neuro Disruptor on your Troop Master if you want it, for wherever you're going to make your Warlord. Or that's a Caress, or that's... Is it a Sigurax Rose? I think Sigurax Rose is 15. I don't think it is. But, you know, it's 2 more kisses or 2 more embraces on your troop. Like, small point amounts in savings are very big deals for Harlequins, because most of your upgrades are pretty cheap. And being able to, you know, get an extra... 2 upgrades can be a big deal. Or maybe you drop an upgrade on top of the savings, and then you put out another troop that has, you put another player in a troop. So it brings up some very reasonable choices. All right, so second, there's actually two different troops. You have Death's Companions, which is the one I just described, and then you have arguably the better of the two, but it is more pricey. So it's a 155-point troop, and it's called Company of the Threefold Strangers. So you have essentially, it's just a normal troop master, but he's named Lambient Prince, but exact same stat line for, exactly the same stat line that Troop Master has. So you don't sacrifice here. This troop configuration is 5 points cheaper. So if you were to basically make this formation or make this lay out yourself on your troop, this would be, by taking this, you save 5 points. Now, again, because of some of the choices that you can have in terms of weapons, somewhat debatable, but if you like neurodisruptors, this is definitely worthwhile. So moving on into it, the Lambient Prince himself, the Troop Master, has a Power Sword and Haywire Grenades. So hey, Haywire, Power Sword, both good things. They aren't. It's good. There's nothing negative to say about what he's equipped with here. It's not like Dusk, who just gets basically nothing. Then you have two troops, and again, this is a 6-man troop, so it's 5 players plus the Lambient Prince. You have 2 players who are bare bones, so no upgrades. They're your mooks you put in front to suck shots and overwatch shots. You have 1 player who has a pistol and a kiss. You have 1 player who has a neurodisruptor and a basic weapon. So, yeah, pistol, hit on 3s. Now, the issue kind of stems from neurodisruptors don't really work well with running and charging, because if you're going to have the neurodisruptors, you kind of want to shoot. It's not as big a deal in Death's Companions because you only got 1. So missing a shot for a turn 1 charge is almost always going to be worth it. In any case, so you have you have 1 troop with the neurodisruptor in the close combat, and then you have 1 troop with player, I guess, with a neurodisruptor and a kiss. So all told, this is equipped with 1 power sword, 2 kisses, and 2 neurodisruptors on 5 players and a troop master. Comparatively to the Death's Companions, they have 2 kisses, 2 caresses, and 1 neurodisruptor. So Death's Companions are arguably outfitted better, but 5 attacks on the charge at AP 3, Strength 4 isn't bad. The power sword sort of makes up for the rest of the lack of equipment on the troop. As always, the exact same usual Harlequin rules: Fear, Fleet, Fierce Charge, Hit and Run, all that stuff. And then again, they have the same. Actually, I misread. So this is the one that cannot charge on the first, or cannot run and charge. That said, if you put them, like I said, remember, you can put them in a formation that includes a troop and replace the troop with them. So they would get their benefits plus that formation's benefits. So it kind of stacks. The benefit that they get is called Red Moon Rises. The models can run and shoot in the same phase. That means you can run and use your neurodisruptors. Not bad. Now, I mean, obviously debatable if you want your troop really standing in the open, but it's not bad. I feel like Threefold Company will work really well with the next one I'm going to discuss here in a second. But again, 5 points cheaper, 2 neurodisruptors, can run and shoot. That's not bad. It's not, anything amazing. I'd rather have one of those neurodisruptors on the Lambient Prince, but it's not bad. It is what it is. 5 points cheaper, and still a troop with a decent amount of close combat power. In this case, mostly because of Lambient Prince or your Troop Master, and then 1 Harlequin Kiss token, or 2 kisses, sorry. And then, of course, the Neuro Disruptors for softening up your targets before you go in for the charge. Alright, so this is probably what I feel will be one of the most underrated things that gets added. It is called Inerium Spectre, and this is essentially a swap for a Death Jester. It can be used in any formation, however you want. I feel like most people are going to look at this and be like, who cares? It's just a normal Death Jester. And he is, basically. I think he's exactly the same. Let me double check. Yeah, he is exactly the same stat-wise as a normal Death Jester. He is also 10 points more expensive. However, in those 10 points, it does include Haywire Grenades, which means he is 5 points more expensive than a Death Jester, assuming you're going to give the Death Jester Haywire Grenades. Which, again, Haywire is never a bad thing. Where this matters is kind of one of those weird things. Special rules. Fear, Fleet, Furious Charge, Hit and Run, Independent Character, Precision Shots, and Shrouded. So, you might be like, why would I care if he has Shrouded? I could just take Hero's Path and give him a Shrouded. Well, you cannot join a unit in Hero's Path, which means Shrouded, you know, you can get Shrouded. Sure, you can give him 2-up cover saves. That's nice. Shrouded is transferred to the entire unit. That means you can put him with an 8-man Harlequin squad, foot slog it, and just keep making sure you're running through cover, and you have 2-up cover saves on your entire troop. Because Shrouded is if a model has Shrouded, the entire unit has +2 cover save. $5 points to give an entire troop 2-up cover. Yes. 1,000 times, yes. Why do you put a Shadow Seer with a troop? So that you can give them psychic powers to help keep them safe. So he's essentially doing exactly that. Like, he's essentially putting invisibility on the troop as long as you keep them in cover and no ignores cover weapons. And arguably better than invisibility is a 2-up cover save, because snap shooting is on 6s, but they're not hitting you on guaranteed anyway, so they're going to be missing some, and then you're also essentially still on the 6s to even hit you because of your cover save. Yeah, this guy's incredible. Like, I don't... yeah, that's amazing. He is absolutely amazing. If you're playing Harlequins, you will take one, and you will put them with your biggest troop. Whatever capacity you intend to use them for, be it outfitting them with caresses to go kill Imperial Knights, giving them embraces to wreck Necrons, or giving them kisses to ruin Terminator's Day. You know, whatever you outfit that squad for, if you have a big on-foot squad, you do want Inerium Spectre. I can't state enough how incredibly awesome this guy is. Even if they're not in cover, if your opponent's having to shoot through cover, you get that 5-up +2, so that's still a 3-up save. Yeah. There is no reason that you would not take Inerium Spectre if you're playing Harlequins. 5 points is a steal to give a troop Shrouded. That can't be overstated. That is an amazing, amazing thing to be given to the Harlequins, because your biggest weakness are those shitty saves, and this, oh god, that helps so much. Now, he is unique, so you can't, you know, get crazy ideas like, oh, I'll just put one in every single troop. No, you can't do that, so you really have to be a bit selective with who could really use this the most. And as always, he still has the usual Death Jester rules, so Assault, Shuriken Cannon, stick him with, if you put him with, something that has Rising Crescendo, then he can run and charge turn 2 as well, so, yeah. In any case, but yeah, you could shoot a unit with him, have them run towards you, and then everyone charges. So, yeah, I can't overstate. That's amazing. It's a really, really powerful unit to be given to the Harlequins, which honestly probably could use something like this. So, kudos to Games Workshop for making that guy. He's very cool, and I feel he's going to be very underrated until people kind of see what he can do. And at that point, I think people are going to be like, holy shit, why did I ever think he wasn't that good? If you play Harlequins, use Inrim Spectre, and be happy. Alright, so now we kind of we're getting into, this is a unit that's of questionable value. It's not bad, but it's going to be a lot more situational. Not that it won't get used, but it'll only get used in certain situations. So it's called the Blades of Fate. This is a special version of the Skyweavers. They are unique, so you can only have 2. You cannot add more to the unit, and you cannot take multiples of these guys. They come for 125 points. They are pre-upgraded with Zephyr Glaives, and that's it. They are normal Skyweavers otherwise. So why are they 5 points more expensive? Well, because they can always reroll failed Jinx saves. Normally you only get that in Fauci's Blade, which does honestly make that formation really powerful. However, what if you wanted to bring Sigarak's Chest, which is, the Void Weaver, the Skyweavers, and a troop? Well, sub the Skyweavers for Blades of Fate. Now you have that nice rerollable Jink, while still being still having the run in charge of the troop. Pretty big deal, right? 5 points? It's worth it. 5 points to be able to reroll your Jink save, guys. Completely worth it. Especially if you're intending to bring guys, or you're bringing Skyweavers with Glaives anyways. Now, yes, you can only have 2 in the unit, but let's be honest, if you're wanting to bring large units anyways, you're going to probably be running Fauci's, because you can get 2 large units of Skyweavers, not 1. This is here specifically to improve other formations, things like Sigarak's Chest, things like a Masque detachment, because you need a fast attack choice. Why not Blades of Fate? Get your rerollable Jink save, and you still get essentially a relatively cheap fast attack choice that fulfills a good role. I mean, yeah. If Eldrad's an HQ, turn 1, put invisibility on them, have them turbo boost behind enemy lines, and laugh as you get a reroll 2-up Jink saves. No? Yeah. Not bad. There's a lot of good reasons to use them, but they're going to be very limited in what you use. I think they're going to find their most use in you being used essentially as an allied detachment. Like, you're going to be bringing Sigarak's Chest formation to put, some troops, so a troop on there, and that troop is going to be able to run in charge. And, you already have to bring the Skyweavers, so you can always Jink now. And with Blades of Fate, you gotta reroll the Jink. So, yeah, it's good. It's situationally good, but it is good. There's, basically the only time it's not worth bringing them is either A, you want the unit of Skyweavers to be more than 2, or B, you want the Skyweavers, you're already going to bring Fauci's instead, which you're bringing a lot of Skyweavers. But if you're only going to have 1 unit of Skyweavers, and you're honestly trying to minimize your points costs, Blades of Fate, 5 points, reroll your Jink. Always. Again, this to me is, if you're not bringing Fauci's and you're not bringing lots of Skyweavers, this is an auto-include. 5 points to reroll Jinx save. Yeah. Okay, the final special unit of the in the Death Masque book here is called Serpents Breath. It is a 15-point price increase on a Void Weaver, and you can sub this for a Void Weaver in a given thing. So, example, Cigarette's Chest, you have Skyweaver's Troop and a Void Weaver. Well, you can sub Serpents Breath in there for that. Why would you do that? 15 points. Well, it has a 5-point upgrade already included, so it's already got a prismatic cannon. So you're still looking at a 10-point increase. However, it is Ballistic Skill 5. This one I think is more situational. It really depends whether or not you really want to make use of the 10 points here. It's probably the weakest thing in the new units. Not because Ballistic Skill 5 is bad, but because a 90-point Void Weaver is bad. Void Weavers are 10 up and 2 whole points. Do you really... How much do you really want to invest in something that's 10 armor? Really? And 2 whole points? Yeah. It will find a use, for sure, and it'll get used. This is just an incredibly situational choice. Of course, the upside here is your Prismatic Cannon Lance Shot. Hitting on 2s is a much bigger deal than hitting on 3s with the Lance, because you only got 1 shot. So, if this is if this is one of your primary means to deal with vehicles, then yeah, you're going to bring Serpents Breath, because you really don't want to miss those lance shots, because you only get 1, and hitting on 2s is huge compared to hitting on 3s. If you're bringing the Void Weaver to Prismatic and you're intending to use it mostly for the blast abilities, you might leave this one at home. Ballistic Skill 4 versus 5 when scattering, less of a big deal. Not that it's not a big deal, but it's not 10 points worth of a big deal. So if you're bringing the Void Weaver to kill blobs, you're just going to bring a Void Weaver. If you're bringing the Void Weaver because you need to land those lance shots, then you're probably going to actually maybe be willing to spring, not probably, but you might be willing to spring 10 points for the Serpent's Breath for that extra ballistic skill. Don't underestimate 1 ballistic skill. 5 ballistic skill is vastly superior to 2, or to 4 ballistic skill. So don't take this as me like, oh, 5 ballistic skill, who cares? It's more just because of the functionality of the Void Weaver and the fact you're basically paying 10 points extra on something that's already very fragile. That said, you can definitely find a use for it. Like, no doubt, you can find a use for it. It will get you. I'm sure you see it in play, and if you play Harlequins, by all means, try it out. I'm going to try it out at least a couple times because Ballistic Skill 5, but it's going to be, again, situationally useful. Don't field this and then utilize the blasts. If you're fielding this and then utilizing the large blast or small blast, you're wasting your points, in my honest opinion. This is basically here because you're saying, I am going to be shooting the lance shot every single turn. And if you're not, why are you spending 10 points for an extra ballistic skill? That's kind of what it boils down to. If you're going to use it for blasts, don't purchase it. If you're going to use it for the lance, you have an argument to buy it. So, that brings us to the final thing here for the Harlequins. It is the Coherent Host. Basically, every single unit I've said so far, you mash them all together and bring it as a single formation. not as a single unit. But so what do you get for that? It's formation. You get Eldrad, Death's Companions. You get Company of Threefold Stranger, your Inner Inspector, the Blades of Fate, and Serpents Breath. So that essentially means you're going to get all of those, like, the Death's Companions can run and charge, the Company of Threefold can run and shoot, Inner Inspector can be joined to one of those to give them better cover saves, Blades of Fate can reroll Jink, and then obviously your Serpent's Breath will probably be relegated to killing the opponent's vehicle before it kills the Serpent's Breath. Why would you bring this, you ask, other than Eldrad? Well, a pretty decent special role, nothing amazing. I feel like they kind of missed a chance to make this a really powerful way to give Harlequins a nice boost here. But it's not bad. So the primary special rule that you get from this is Ephemeral Phantasms. Each time a model from this formation suffers a wound, you roll the dice. So unsaved wounds. So after you've already failed your save, roll the dice. On a 6, the wound's ignored. So basically it's Feel No Pain that can't be canceled out. Well, Feel No Pain 6 up that cannot be canceled out by doubling your toughness. It's fine. There's nothing wrong. I'm not sure I understand why it's not 5 up. Harlequins are so fragile anyways, and so few numbers that I don't really know that 5 up would have really broken it here. That's what I mean when I kind of feel like they kind of missed an opportunity to give the Harlequins a very competitive, strong formation. It would have been a powerful formation to be sure, but keep in mind, to bring this, you're basically bringing 2 troops that you can't actually customize. So those 2 troops have like 2 kisses on one, 2 caresses on that one too, and then 2 kisses on another and a power sword. Nah, that's not really a big deal. Whatever. 5 up would have been perfectly fine because this doesn't extend to your army. This is a very specific restrictive formation that brings very specific things. It doesn't say a troop. It doesn't say a Void Weaver. It doesn't say Sky Weaver. So you can't be like, oh, I'll bring this formation like a unit of 6 Sky Weavers. No, doesn't work like that. And it is, at least in fairness, every model, so that includes your Void Weaver. It also gets the benefit of this, but again, why isn't it a 5 up? I'm not sure I understand that. So, even a 5 up still 66% chance that wound goes through, and Harlequins are in such small numbers and so fragile that it was a missed opportunity to give them something fun and powerful, and make them feel like they have something really good to their name. Missed opportunity, really should have been 5 up, but still 6 up is 6 up. Is it worth giving up all control on upgrades and such for Harlequins? Maybe for Eldrad, but it's debatable. Still, 6 up, it's still better than nothing, so, maybe you get lucky. Essentially, for every 6 guys who actually die, one of them shouldn't die. It's okay. Second special rule is the Power of Trillion Souls. So what that is, it's essentially just makes Eldrad have Eternal Warrior. That is actually a big deal, because Eldrad is still puny Eldar toughness, so making him not, giving him solitaire level survivability is good. And that's essentially what he is. He becomes solitary level survivability, a 3-up invuln return warrior. Yeah. Nothing really negative to say about that one. Giving your warlord essentially that kind of survivability is good. He's got 3 wounds. It lets you make sure you can take care and preserve all 3 wounds, and so he doesn't just like blink out. But yeah, that's the new formation here that kind of includes everything. Everything else I listed isn't a formation. It is essentially a swap. You can bring a Serpent's Breath instead of a Void Weaver. You can bring Threefold's Company or Company of the Threefold Stranger or Death's Companions instead of a troop. You can bring and should bring Interim Spectre instead of a Death Jester, and depending on the formation you're running, you can bring Blades of Fate instead of Sky Reavers. There's no special version of a Star Reaver in this, so that was kind of the... If you assume to think of Eldrad sort of as a Shadow Seer, and you kind of... Well, and a Solitaire is already basically a sort of special guy. No other... Basically, the Shadow Seer and the Star Reaver, the only ones to really miss out on a specialized version. But yeah, that is all that the Harlequins got out of the Death Masque. Overall, some pretty good, fun stuff. Some stuff that could use some experimenting. I feel like the Death's Companions and the Company of Threefold Stranger are going to... They're going to be the more polarizing of the two. Interim Spectre, as I pretty much got across, is going to be an auto-include in any Harlequin list, or that even has a Death Jester. You're gonna bring him 5 points. Do you have a unit shout it? Definitely, he's an independent character. Shove him with. I mean, shit. If it's part of an allied, like, let's say you bring. Yes, I mean, I guess. Yeah, if you bring him as part of a company, or why can I not think of the name? But it's the formation that is the, the troop plus the Shadow Seer and Death Jester. Well, you just make the Death Jester interims, and the troop is immediately better. If you run a mask, well, as the Death Jester, make it interims, and now as an independent character, he can join someone else's squad. What if you say put him with a unit of Dark Reapers? 2-up cover Dark Reapers? Nice. Yeah, there's a lot of shenanigans you can do with interims. Dark Eldar, you put him with a decent sized foot squad of Cabalites and just maximize, give them their shuriken cannons and or dark lances, and you have a decent force there. Put them with scourges, it's not bad. Now, obviously, you'd miss out on the movement, but I mean, he's quite versatile. You have a lot of things you can do with him to give. If you're bringing this part of a detachment, then he's even more flexible if you're bringing him with someone else. And other key point is, if we count Eldrad as a Harlequin HQ, you now could bring Eldrad HQ, one of these special companies if you wanted, otherwise just bring a troop for your troop slot. You could bring the, oh my god, I already forgot the name. You could bring, yeah, if you wanted to put a fast attack in there, you could bring your Blades of Fate, keeping it cheap, and then you have an elite slot which you could devote to interims, and then shove him in another squad if you didn't want the troop to get the 2-up cover saves. Shove them in another squad and keep them safe. It all kind of depends, but that completely hinges on Eldrad being assumed to be a usable as a Harlequin or HQ. My inclination is that he can be, but I could also see ruling that he can't be. So, like I said, I'd really like to see an FAQ here from Games Workshop that confirms he is or says he is not an HQ for Harlequins. And like I said, an HQ is of some debatable importance to Harlequins. It would be nice just to get some, flexibility in terms of the lists, but you lose a lot of special rules too, which kind of hurts Harlequins. They kind of depend on a lot of those. But either way, you have quite a few options. Like I said, Inrium's Blades of Fate are definitely the standouts in this list, other than Eldrad, if he counts as an HQ, if you're a Harlequin player. The two troops, like I said, Death Companions, Company Threefold, debatable use. If you're happy with the way they're outfitted, then yeah, I would bring them, because it's a discount, and they get a special rule that one of them can run and charge and one can run and shoot. Both are good. So yeah, if you want to bring two Nero Disruptors, bring Company of Threefold Strangers. If you just want one, or honestly, Death Companions actually aren't a badly built close combat squad. The Nero Disruptor is kind of whatever, but it's not like it's useless. Killing a unit or killing a guy in a squad before you actually have to fight him isn't really a bad thing. And then, of course, 2 Caresses and 2 Kisses. That's not a bad layout for a squad, and you get all that for 11 points cheaper. Yeah. Like I said, downside to that, the Troop Master not being in this, no actual Troop Master kind of sucks, but you get an extra wound, so it's still a 7 wound squad, I guess. In any case, guys, that is going to do it. Be sure to check back here tomorrow. Daniel and I are going to review the Deathwatch Codex here, and I am going to get right now to putting together all the Deathwatch, and hopefully we will have a battle report with them very, very soon, hopefully. I want to get them painted, at least all the silver on their arm, and sprayed black, and then maybe kind of get the edges highlighted. I mean, there's only 12 models, so I should be able to get that done without too much effort, and you're going to get to see them pretty soon. There's some very cool stuff in the Deathwatch Codex, so if you're interested in seeing that, like I said, check back tomorrow, or by the time you're seeing this anyways, it might already be out. And you're going to see us discuss and go over all the Deathwatch stuff, and a game with Deathwatch, and it'll probably happen within the next 3 to 4 days at least. Hopefully sooner. I'm hoping to have one up here within about 2 days, but schedules and all that. So, but yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you kind of enjoyed. I'm pretty excited about some of the new Harlequin stuff in the Death Masque. I hope you are too. Like I said, definitely Inrium's and I can never remember their name. Yeah, Inrium's and Blades of Fate are definitely the standouts. But you have an argument to use a lot of these. There's all the rest are the very minimum situationally useful. So, yeah. But like I said, guys, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, guys, if you guys enjoy these type of things, please do like and or subscribe. Till then, take care.